Hello everyone, I just wanted to help a couple people with understanding a little bit about lumbar spine and what to look for and how to know if it's not correct. So just some quick notes about AP lumbar spine. We should have the patient laying supine, ideally with their knees bent. It reduces that lordotic curve. You know your lower back has a concave or lordotic curve to it. And in radiology, we're usually always trying to reduce OID, or the distance. So by bending their knees, it will reduce this lordotic curve and it'll have open joint spaces or intervertebral joint spaces, which is what we want. On our AP lumbar spine, we should see the spinous processes coming straight down the middle of the vertebrae. They should be even and in the midline. Here's our pedicles, and the crest or the pelvis should also be equal. Right? They shouldn't be rotated one way or the other. So that's how the AP lumbar spine should look. If it's rotated, it's not going to be in the middle. So if you come over to my third one here, I tried to put this little pink line where you can see where the spinous process is not coming down the middle. This could be positional, or it could be the patient's anatomy. But as you can see, the spinous processes are not coming straight down. We're starting to get a little rotation there. Patients who have scoliosis, their spine is going to be at a curve, or that S curve. What you'll notice is this spine is actually not rotated. It might be curved, but the spinous processes are still coming down the middle. So that's just something else that you might see on your AP lumbar spine. You should be able to see where T12 is where the last rib comes off. And then L1 should be directly underneath it. We're going to center at the iliac crest, depending on what textbook it is. It might be 1 inch above, 1.5 inches above, or directly at iliac crest. But in general, the iliac crest is going to lie right about L4, L5 intervertebral disc space here, in between the two vertebrae. Your lateral lumbar spine, we should have the vertebrae in lateral position. We should be seeing single borders. On a well-positioned lateral lumbar, we're going to have open intervertebral foramina, and the disc spaces will also be open as well. So that's what we want to see. So we want to see foramina, or I call them the O's, and that's what will be open there. When it's not well-positioned, how do you know? Well, this one here is well positioned. I have open spaces in between the vertebrae. I also can see my foramina open. If you look to the one next to it, you see how we can see some double borders. I can see 2 borders in the posterior part of the vertebrae. I can see 2 borders underneath here on almost all of them, and they start to get a little wider. I can also see that my ribs are not superimposed. Over here, just like a chest, the posterior ribs should be on top of each other. Where over there here, they're not. You can see it looping around, kind of making like a big C or a hook shape. So this patient is rotated. The third image here, centering wise, they didn't center well because, well, we're cutting off the back of the spinous processes. And if you cut this image in half here, we're kind of anterior to the spine, or the patient is just further back. There is rotation on this one as well. We're seeing kind of the posterior portion of the vertebrae here. You can also see almost a double sacrum. You have no clear joint space here. This patient might have a lot going on too, but this is not a well-positioned lateral. Oblique lumbar spine. On your oblique lumbar is when you're going to see what we call the Scotty dogs. So once your patient is in an oblique position, you should start to see the pedicle or the eye of the Scotty dog in the middle of the vertebra. The nose of the Scotty dog is the transverse process. The ear is the superior articular process. The leg is the inferior, and you know the superior and inferior articular processes create the zygapophyseal joint, and that's what the oblique lumbar spines are for. They're for the zygapophyseal joints. And so that's what we want to see on our well-positioned oblique lumbar spine. We also want these pedicles near the middle of the vertebrae. We don't want them too anterior or too posterior on that, because that'll tell us we're not in a good oblique position. And so here's just some examples of over and under rotation that you might see. Ideally, our pedicles or our eyes are in the middle. Well, if they're too anterior, like this one where I've circled in pink, when the pedicle is anterior, this patient is actually under-rotated. And if you think back to your AP lumbar spine, where your spinous processes were in the middle, your transverse processes we could see clearly on the sides. The nose is sticking out here on this one. So this patient is not oblique enough to push that pedicle back to the middle. Let's go to the other side of my screen here where there's over-rotation. When the pedicle is almost to the back of the vertebrae, you're over-rotated. So that patient is closer to lateral position than the 45 oblique. So these obliques, the goal is to see these zygapophyseal joints, but over and under rotation is determined by where the pedicle is sitting on the vertebrae. So too anterior, under rotation, too posterior, over rotation. L5S1, we call it the spot shot or your L5S1 spot, but ideally we should see an open L5S1 joint space. We should see the L5 in the first segment of the sacrum well. As you can see on these two examples over here, it's not open. So this one here, technical factor-wise, isn't great either, but the L5S1 joint space is closed. What does that mean? It could mean that they forgot to tube angle or that they needed a tube angle. So depending on that interiliac line and how the patient is positioned, did they have a sponge under their hip? Did you use a tube angle or not to open up this joint space? This patient is very rotated and kind of kicked forward. You can see the vertebrae. We can see the posterior ends of it. This patient doesn't have really much of an L5S1 space at all because this is a really rough spine. But so most likely they didn't angle or the patient maybe didn't need an angle. So if you get this error, you might just want to swap those, whichever one you did. Then just terminology, there's two more for lumbar spine. I would say flexion extension versus bending views. Flexion extension are done in lateral position. So that's when the patient's going to flex forward and then extend back. A lot of times we're looking for stability of the spine. You want to make sure and annotate or write on your image which one is which. And then that spondylolisthesis is when that vertebrae slips forward onto the one underneath it. And so this stability of the spine is maybe compromised if it's sliding forward and they may need a fusion. Bending views, right and left, are done in AP position. This is to differentiate between primary and compensating curves for the patient. And usually it's done with a patient that has a curvature to the spine. So just watch the terminology. If it's flexion extension, the patient's lateral. Or if it says the patient is in AP position, for bending views, those are left to right. Those aren't flexion extension. I hope this was helpful, and good luck with your Lspine imaging.